Okay, everybody, back on the 465 rebuild, and we're going to assemble the main shaft today. Here are the bushings, and we talked about these before, but what you're going to get in your kit, I don't know if you can see that, 1-inch 840. Okay, 1-inch 840 on your first and second. Third gear is always the same. 1-inch 840, and we have the step bushing. I'm not doing too good on focus today. Hang in there with me. We have the step bushing. There's a little step there that comes with the kit. That gets used with the 1-inch 840 bushings. The second generation that was on this transmission, the used one, is 1-inch 860. Now if you reuse that, or you don't pay attention to your first gear thrust washer, you're going to screw everything up. It's just a little bit difference there, but it's enough to squeeze it too tight. Take your original bushings, and I always change them just as a matter of fact. I mean, it just doesn't pay to use them again. Take those, get rid of those. You're going to get your 3 new ones in the kit. You're going to get the proper thrust washer, and that's where we're going. So, in addition to the bushings, there are my 2 press tools. Now, these are specifically designed to press that bushing on. It fits it perfectly. Oh, this is the third gear one right here. Fits that perfectly. Put that in a press that bushing down nice and square. You can make those, you could turn them on a lathe, you could put a cap on top so you got something to press on. I do recommend you pre-figure out how you're going to press those bushings on. First and second gear, this is a Kentmore tool. It's a J-22873. You can probably find these anywhere, I don't know, tag sale online, something like that. Your third gear, a little bit different, still made by Kentmore. It's a J22875. Okay, if you guys were asking for part numbers on the tools, and that's what they are. You could get this, get your bushing started nice and square, get that on there and just press it right on. So I'll show you those over at the press. These are going in the oven right now. We're going to get those at 250. Main shaft has been in the freezer for a couple days. It's nice and cold. So, like I say, be very careful with these bushings. They can shatter very easily. Safety glasses always when you're on the press. Start them nice and square. If you start crooked, they're going to crack, they're going to break, they're going to shatter. So, be very careful. Let's head over and I'll show you how we're going to heat them up. Okay guys, nothing fancy. This is just an old toaster oven. We got it on bake. And I got it set for 250. We'll go a little bit more. We'll go just a hair over 250. Close the door and we'll let those heat up. Yeah, maybe 30 minutes. We'll just let those hang out in there and get nice and warm. They'll expand just enough, and we'll have an easy press over when we go put those on the main shaft. Okay, while those guys are heating up, I took the time to put my new dogs and my new springs into the synchronizers. Now when you put these in, make sure, I think you can see that alright, make sure you pick up all 3 dogs with your springs. So right in that area, we picked up that dog, and you split the difference in this area here. Make sure you got a spring under every dog. Okay, our opening is here on this one. Flip it over, put the opening on the opposite side there. Okay, now make sure, again, we got all 3 dogs with a spring under it. Don't leave a dog unsprung. It seems simple, but I see it all the time, and you just have trouble with your shifting. So every dog has a spring behind it, and that's on your second, third, and your reverse synchro. You know, both synchros, same thing. The little guy and the big guy. Spring pressure underneath every dog. So these are ready to go on. We'll finish heating those up, and we'll head over to the press. Okay guys, we just grabbed a bushing. I'm going to grab the main shaft, and we're going to get these couple guys together here. Okay, just had to run and grab the tool. Okay. It's our frozen shaft there. Get that kind of squared up. Hope you guys can see this all right. Well, let's hope for the best. Okay, get this on my big arbor press. Get it nice and squared up. Okay. Okay, right down to that shoulder. It's kind of a bumpy press. Okay, make sure that bushing is hard on that shoulder. Okay? Okay, I know that's good. It really goes easy when you freeze the shaft and you heat up the bushing. Okay, now that's tight against that shaft right there, and that's just how we want it. You saw how easy it was with that tool. Make yourself something like that, or if I gave you the number, you can search for it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over. We're going to put our synchronizer on there next. I'll get set up for that, and I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, we turned the main shaft around. Got our second speed synchro hub on there. I think you can see the orientation of everything. Our bushing went on. Pulled the shaft out, put the second gear hub in there, press that on. It's a very light press. Shaft is still cold, so it went right on there. Groove is down. Don't make sure you don't turn that around. Groove is down, and that's on there now. Okay, we'll keep moving on with it. Okay guys, we're going to go for the first gear bushing next. It's still pretty warm from the oven. Get that seated nice and square. Like I say, they'll go on for you pretty easy when the shaft is cool. Get this guy centered. Okay, that's sliding right down easy with the press. Getting a little snug now that it's cooling off. Okay, make sure that's all the way down, which it is. Okay, and that's our second press operation. You see how easy it goes with the tools. Okay, that's first gear bushing, 1 inch 840, not 1 inch 860, and you'll be fine. Okay guys, we're going to continue on. Got your blocking ring. Make sure your notches line up with the dogs. Just like that. Okay, second gear. Should slide right on there. Sometimes you got to give that a light press. You know, like I say, this was cool. This is still very cold. It's cooling the bushings down, so everything's going on real easy. If you have to, light pressure in the press will get that on. But it's moving along real nice. You'll have the same results if you freeze the shaft and you heat the bushings. Okay guys, it's been a few minutes. Everything is getting close to room temperature. Okay, and you want that to slide very smoothly on your bushing. When they're warm, like I say, you may have to just push that on, but it should free up just like that. Okay, we're going to flip everything over. Okay, and we got one more. No way. We got one more bushing to put on here. Keep it like this for now. We've got our third gear bushing to put on, and before we do that, we got to put our thrust washer on there. And you can see it. Hang in there with me. There's a little slot in your main shaft that the washer has to fit into. Make sure it goes in that slot or you'll have some trouble. I'll grab it and we'll put that in next. Okay guys, your thrust washer is going to have a little tang right there. Make sure that goes down into that slot and it can't spin. Okay, that's critical. Okay, so that's your thrust washer. We need third gear bushing, and I got to do a little rearranging again and go back over to the press and put that guy on there. Okay guys, third gear bushing's hot in my hands, and remember that takes a little bit different. Just get that square. That takes a little bit different pusher cup, and I'll try and get my hand out of the way. Hang in there. Not happy the way that one's going on. Remember, if it doesn't start square, you get yourself in trouble. Not happy the way that one is. I'm gonna try and straighten that out. It's cocking one way. Let me try and get that straightened out. Okay, let's try this again. Losing a lot of the heat in there, and it's going kind of tough, but we'll get it. Tight up against your thrust washer. A couple bumps, and we're there. Again, super easy with the right pusher if you get it started right. That one for some reason wanted to turn on me, but just stay with it and it'll come out okay. Okay guys, third gear bushing, lubed up with oil. Now remember, we're putting our new third gear assembly in here. Just like that. That's the new one. And with that one we also got a new sleeve here, which we'll put in. that goes on next. And then now we've got to get the synchro on and the snap ring. And it's a lot of back and forth from here to the press and back again and stuff. But hang in there with me and we'll get this whole main shaft finished up in just a bit. Okay, we got our blocking ring. We got our synchro unit. Take your bushing tool again. Press that on. That's very light press. Just press that right on. Now we're ready for our snap ring. Our snap ring groove is in the perfect place. We're going to put the snap ring on, and we're gaining on it. Little by little, we're gaining on it. So hang in there. I'll be right back with you. Okay, guys. We're going to lube up this first gear bushing. Okay, that's fitting nice. And there goes our first gear. And that's what your main shaft should look like assembled. We'll get the thrust washer in there and we'll get the other blocking ring on. We'll get the input shaft in, but we have it assembled to where we could start installing it in the case now. So make sure everything is moving freely. Oil everything up so it's moving nice and nothing's galling or anything. And that's basically how you put your main shaft together. Okay, guys, we have the main shaft completely assembled. I know there's a lot of broken up sections, but if you just concentrate on one thing at a time, one gear at a time, one synchro at a time, it'll go easier for you if this is your first time through it. Let me try and get this over here. We got our new third gear in there. Oops. Okay. Right here. Look at this new hub. There's a groove in that hub. Make sure that goes forward. Don't turn that around and get it going the wrong way. There's a very sharp taper that goes to the rear. You know, that whole thing right there is ready to be installed into the case. We'll put our final blocking ring on afterwards because that'll just fall all over the place. We're carefully going to drop that into the case. We already have our cluster gear in there. So we'll just get that in the case next. Okay, guys, I got the main shaft in there. Just got to drop the back through the hole and get it in there. You just got to fiddle with it. I didn't have the camera rolling at the time, but it's in there now. And I've got another factory tool that I use when I do these. I'll bring it out here. This is a Kentmore J-2274-5. Put that on your main shaft guy right there. Okay. Turn that so you can see what I did with it. Okay, fits right in the hole there. Alright, now we can take this case. I'll try and stay out of the way. It's starting to get heavy now, so hang in there. Okay, now we have that. See if I can get you down there. We have that guy right there centering our whole shaft. And then we can go after that rear bearing. So let me get that out of the box and ready to go. And I'll show you how I put that guy in. Okay, with the case upside down, we're going to send that rear bearing in. And when you're using the factory rear cap, or you're in a factory type setting and you're just rebuilding this as a 465, a regular 6308 bearing can go in there. Now when we're doing it and we're adapting it to a Jeep transfer case, I like to use a sealed bearing, but I don't like no lube to get to the bearing, so I like to take the inner one out. You just pop that off. That little amount of grease doesn't impress me, and I want a long life transmission, so I want oil to flow into here, but I don't necessarily want it flying out of the case, you know. So that's just my preference. I mean, you guys could do whatever you like, but that's how I like to put them back together. So one side open, one side sealed. You know, we're gonna put a gasket and everything, and it shouldn't leak out, but this is just what I like to do. So half sealed bearing right there. Now to put that bearing in, you remember we have our one tool on the other side centering and holding the shaft, and it's tight to the case. Here's another factory rebuild tool. And again, it's a Kentmore, and it's a J22874-1. And what this is a bearing driver. Okay, you can get on there and tap all around it with a hammer. Again, you don't need these factory tools, but it's what I use. Okay, and we're right down to the case. That's what I do. Like I say, you guys could you could change up, do whatever you like, but just another factory tool if you happen to be collecting them and using them for your rebuild. Okay, next thing we're going to do is put our input shaft in there. We've got our 17 needle bearings in there. I got some transmission assembly lube on there. One of them already got away. Keep those in place. We're going to put that on and get this final guy in place here. Okay, and make sure your flat is facing down, and slip that right over the stub there and tap it in with a rubber mallet. Point that down. Okay, and we'll just tap that in with a hammer, and that'll be done. And we'll put our bearing retainer on there, and then we'll go after the lower bearings. Okay guys, nothing too special about putting the bottom bearings in. That front one you're just going to tap in. The back one is another 6308. And I just bang it in with that tool there. Make sure on your counter shaft, see if I can get you in here. Make sure you get that snap ring on right there. That's a real heavy one. It's a real bear to put on. Make sure you get that one on there. And there's a view of the finished case. Okay, we still got to put on our cap right here. I've got to rebuild the shift tower. We're going to put all our new forks in it and stuff. But for the most part, I think that will get you guys where you need to be as far as rebuilding the 465. If you take your time and you're patient, it should come out just fine. Got our bearing retainer on there. Basically, that's a finished transmission. Rebuilding the tower is just a matter of pulling the shafts out, putting the new gears on. So we're in real good shape at this point. We'll put the adapter on here now to hold these bearings. These just want to fall out, so we'll put the adapter plate on there, and we'll just start tidying things up. So again, there's another look at everything. And when I have all the little bits and pieces on there, I'll come back with you and show you the whole thing. Okay guys, we're going to put our plate on here. These bearings just want to keep slipping out, so we're going to put the plate on there, and that's why in the last video, before the case was full of gears, we fit this to the transfer case and transmission and made all our adjustments. Much easier to do when the case is empty. It's not as heavy. So like I say, this is the advanced adapter one, and you could clock it a few different ways. So make sure there's your 3 clocking locations. I'm using this one. They give you plugs, threaded little screws there. Make sure you seal those, otherwise it'll leak real bad. So I've got some sealer on there. We've got those in. You guys have seen me use this plenty of times. Permatex Anaerobic gasket maker. If you're looking for it, part number is 51813. I use this for sealing threads and studs and you name it. It works real good. All these holes go directly into oil, so you have to seal every bolt. And you get nice bolts in the kit. And we'll just put a little bit of sealer on these. You don't need a lot, it goes a long way. I'll put the bolt in first. And we'll just find our holes. We'll thread these 8 guys in, torque them down, and our bearings won't be able to slip out of the case. Like I say, if you're doing a regular 465, you'll put your back cap on there and you won't have to deal with any of this. But for you guys that are trying to get this attached to a transfer case, this is the procedure that I do. If you've been following the series along, you kind of see how we got to this point. So we're going to put this on, and then we can put the transmission aside, and we can work on the cover and stuff without worrying about anything falling out of place or anything. So make sure every one of these guys is sealed, because even the top ones, that oil is going to be slinging around in there. And if they're not sealed, you will have seepage. Okay, plates on. Bearings are tight to the case, is where they need to be. Front bearings, rear bearings, everything is in place. You put this guy on, 35 foot-pounds and sealer on every bolt. And when that's on and torqued, let's get over to the gear set here. Okay, you should just turn super easy like that. If it does not turn at this point, you've got your bushings wrong, or you've got something else going on. When you have your back cap on, and let's get you out of there. When you have your back cap on, your bearings are all the way up against the case that way. You've got your front retainer on. Get your little cap down there. And you have all that in place. And you grab the input shaft. Just with a couple fingers, it should be spinning freely. Okay? If you don't have that, go back and recheck things. Don't think, oh, something's going to wear in or something is just hung up a little bit. That's not the case. It needs to be silky smooth right now, or don't go any further. So the case right now, with the exception of the PTO covers, you see I got a PTO over there. I'm going to try and sneak a winch, a PTO winch on this vehicle if I can. I don't know, I'm going to have for clearance and stuff, but coming down the left side, the driver's side, we're going to try and sneak a PTO in there, a PTO winch. So, here we are back at the case. Right now, we're going to put the case aside. At some point, if anybody's interested, I'll show you how to rebuild the top. Just send a comment below. This seems to be one of my least watched videos, so I know there's probably not a lot of guys doing 465s or doing adapters or doing any of that kind of stuff, but not getting too many views or comments. So if you want to see the top, you know, even if a couple guys would like to, I'll show it. Otherwise, I won't waste, you know, time and videos on that. So just let me know. Shoot a comment down in the section below there. Let me know. And I hope I gave you guys a good idea how to rebuild one of these. And if there's anything I kind of glossed over or didn't see or didn't show you, or anything you'd like to see, again, just put it in the comment section below. So we're going to end this one here. You know, as always, I appreciate you guys watching. If you like it, hit the like button. Spread the word. Trying to grow the channel as much as I can. It's a slow process, but if you keep spreading the word, we'll get there. Okay, everybody stay safe out there. Catch you on the next one.